In 1976, Henno McGee became the first recipient of the Rooney Prize after his play Hatchet burst onto the Dublin stage at the Peacock Theatre. An exciting, disturbing, frightening play about people trapped in their family loyalties and environment. Hugely successful revivals followed, confirming its reputation as one of the best new plays of its time.
Desmond Hogan's first novel, The Icon Maker, was published in 1976. He was awarded the Rooney Prize the following year. A remarkable debut that deals with a mother's unwilling acceptance of her son's homosexuality. An exceptional, impressionistic first novel from one of Ireland's most lyrical writers. His next book, Lark's Eggs, New and Selected Stories, will be published in September of this year.
When Peter Sheridan's play No Entry premiered at the Project Arts Centre in March 1976, Hibernia magazine wrote,
"Nothing I had heard or read about it prepared me for its quality. An absolutely authentic revelation of Dublin's lower depths, fueled with compassion and fired with creative insight."
Another play, The Liberty Suit, premiered in 1978. Film scripts, memoir and novels followed, his most recent being Every Inch of Her.
While still studying English at Trinity College, Kate Cruz-O'Brien published her first short story, Henry Died. She followed this in 1978 with the first collection, A Gift Horse and Other Stories, and was awarded the Rooney Prize the year after. Her first novel, The Homesick Garden, was published in 1991. A great editor at Poolbeg Press, she extended the fiction list, discovering, developing and encouraging new talent until her sudden death in 1998.
In 1979, Bernard Farrell's first play, I Do Not Like Thee, Dr. Fell, opened at the Abbey Theatre. He immediately followed this with Canaries, for which he was awarded the Rooney Prize in 1980. His characters are under stress, often out of their environment. A prolific playwright, Bernard's work is performed all over the world. His most recent play, Many Happy Returns, had its world premiere at the Gate Theatre, Dublin, last Christmas.
Neil Jordan, who is celebrated for his cinema work, such as Interview with a Vampire and Michael Collins, is an artistic polymath. He sprang onto the literary stage in 1976 with a short story collection, Night in Tunisia. A Sligo man born in 1950, he received the prize in 1981 for his first novel, The Past. 3 others ensued, at intervals most recently, Shade.
Like Neil Jordan, the Belfast poet Maeve McGuckian was also born in 1950. She received the 1982 Rooney for her first collection, The Flower Master. She is a member of Airstona and editor of women's poetry for the Field Day anthology. Her latest work, The Book of the Angel, was published in 2004.
The novelist Dorothy Nelson, born in 1952, was selected by the Rooney Prize jury in 1983 for her first novel, In Night City, later to be adapted for television by Channel 4. Born in Bray, County Wicklow, where she was also educated, she subsequently published Tar and Feathers and a novel, Shouting Back.
The Rooney Prize for 1984 was presented to novelist, writer of short stories and screenplays, Ronan Sheehan. He received the award for his collection Boy with an Injured Eye. He chose to mark the millennium of his native Dublin in 1988 with a reflection called The Heart of the City.
Neither the personality nor achievements of Frank McGuinness can be encapsulated. Teacher, original and adapting playwright, essayist and screenwriter, his list of awards and nominations is lengthy. So the 1985 Rooney Prize Committee, having honoured him for Observe the Sons of Ulster Marching Towards the Somme, is proud to have been the first to step up to the podium. Frank's plays are being staged all over the world, and The Bird Sanctuary was played recently in Pittsburgh and starred Hayley Mills.
Paul Mercier, in the great tradition of O'Casey and Behan, places Dublin's speech at the centre of his dramatic art. The stage received a new sound in his theatre. His is a fiercely ambitious vision stretching from Studs through to his recent plays. His writing is one of Irish drama's truly revolutionary movements. Paul is multi-talented and is a producer and director. He is currently directing the film of Studs.
In Deirdre Madden's novels, her prose is restless and deeply touching. There's never anything remotely predictable about this writer's work, giving it its identifiable edge. Over the past 20 years, Deirdre Madden has continued to explore her exquisite moral dilemmas and develop into one of the country's leading novelists.
Glenn Paterson received the Rooney Prize in 1988. His novels transcend the sectarian rigidities of the long conflict in Northern Ireland. His is an imagination that revels in the strangeness of the familiar as he transforms it into something threatening. Since receiving the award, he's continued to push the boundaries of his fiction further and further.
Robert McLean Wilson was awarded the Rooney Prize in 1989 for creating the lonely, haunted world of his extraordinary novel, Ripley Bogle. Since that introduction, the whole of Europe has become his source material. His work continues to perplex and unsettle, as all truly original fiction must do.
Novelist, poet, and short story writer, Mary Dorsey's first collection of stories was published in 1989. It was called A Noise from the Woodshed, and a year later the selection panel decided to encourage her writing by awarding her the Rooney Prize for 1990.
Anne Enright received the Rooney Prize in 1991 for her first collection of short stories, The Portable Virgin. Anne Enright has defied categorization to the point where the Times of London critic was driven to ask, what is Anne Enright like? Flann O'Brien? Yes. Tristan Shandy? A little. Or Jonathan Swift meeting Kurt Vonnegut? Anne has taken time off from writing fiction to research and write a book called Making Babies.
Hugo Hamilton was born in Dublin of Irish-German parentage and was awarded the Rooney Prize in 1992. In his early novels, he brings elements of his dual identity to bear, from Surrogate to The Last Shot and The Love Test. His recent memoir of his Irish-German childhood, The Speckled People, describes the confusions and contradictions of growing up caught between two cultures, wearing
lederhosen and Aran sweaters, smelling of rough wool and leather, Irish on top, German below. Following the publication of his first collection of poetry, Easter Snow, Gerard Fanning was awarded the Rooney Prize in 1993. His second collection, Working for the Government, was published in 1999, and earlier this year, Daedalus Press brought out his latest collection, Water and Power.
Colin McCann was awarded the Rooney Prize in 1994, following the publication of his first collection of short stories, Fishing the Slow Black River. As a short story writer and novelist, he has invented and reinvented himself in an extraordinary series of fictions, from Song Dogs to This Side of Brightness, and from Everything in This Country Must to his latest tour de force, Dancer, based on the life of the Russian dancer Rudolf Nureyev. Here he is with the members of the selection panel.
In the 21st year of the Rooney Prize, we were honoured by the presence of the President of Ireland, Mrs. Mary Robinson. That year, Philip McCann was the recipient. Born in 1966, he grew up in Belfast, attended Trinity College, and studied creative writing at the University of East Anglia. His short story collection, The Miracle Shed, brought him the Rooney Prize.
The 1996 Rooney Prize was awarded to Mike McCormack, who was born in Sligo in 1954 and now lives in County Mayo. He graduated from NUI Galway, and his first book, Getting It in the Head, a collection of short stories, was published in 1996. This was followed in 1998 with his novel Crow's Requiem.
Anne Haverty is from County Tipperary. She studied at Trinity College and the Sorbonne and was awarded the Rooney Prize in 1997 for her acclaimed first novel, One Day as a Tiger. She has also written a biography of Constance Markowitz, a collection of poems, The Beauty of the Moon, and a second novel, The Far Side of a Kiss, was published in 2000.
Poet David Wheatley was awarded the Rooney Prize in 1998. Born in Dublin in 1970, he studied at Trinity College, wrote a doctoral thesis on Beckett, and now lectures in English at the University of Hull. He has published 2 collections to date, Thirst and Misery Hill. From Thirst, A Spring Birthday.
March again, your month, and we watch a migrant tern drop from the sky onto the pier's thin wall between last year's departure and next year's return. Marco Rowe, born 1970, is from Tala in Dublin. He was awarded the Rooney Prize in 1999 for his two-hander play, Howie the Rookie. The world of criminal activity and urban squalor that he creates on stage is immediate, powerful and brutal, and O'Rourke's depiction of the male psyche is unforgettable. He also wrote the screenplay for Intermission, which starred Colin Farrell.
Claire Keegan grew up on a farm in County Wicklow, and at 17 was studying English literature and political science at Loyola University in New Orleans. She completed an MA in writing at the University of Wales, Cardiff in 1995, and an MPhil followed at Trinity College in 1999. That same year, she published her first collection of short stories, Antarctica, and in 2000 she was awarded the Rooney Prize.
The Long Falling, Keith Ridgway's first novel, was awarded both the Prix Féminin Étranger and the Premier Roman Étranger in France. Its engrossing action begins in rural Ireland and moves to the city. It was his next book, Standard Time, for which he received the Rooney Prize. Dublin is also the setting of his latest novel, The Parts, which has been called
the finest and most truly funny Irish novel since At Swim Two Birds. Michael Longley calls Catriona O'Reilly's The Nowhere Birds, for which she received the 2002 Rooney Prize, a stunning debut collection. The poems in the Sea Cabinet, out this September, have the same elusive intensity and oblique focus.
Several worlds unscrolling. The chemical plant's logical conduits glitter like the keys of a flute.
While brown earth casts up bones of its lost alluvial people, over a bleached Segovian plain, the eye seeks its eagle like the sky's pupil.
Eugene O'Brien received the Rooney Prize for his play Eden. The warring monologues of husband and wife, played by Don Wycherley and Catherine Walsh, bring their whole social world so amazingly to life that, as a member of the audience said afterwards, you experience a crowded stage. Eden was followed by another play, Savoy, and most recently by the television serial Pure Mule, to be screened this autumn.
This is Claire Kilroy. And here again in Tompkins Square Park, New York, the setting of a crucial encounter in Tenderwire, her next novel, due in 2006. The Rooney Prize was awarded for her first one, All Summer, which is at once a psychological novel, a love story, and a thriller. It has been called a strangely haunting and compelling novel that heralds an exciting new talent in Irish writing.
And all the exciting new talent in Irish writing that we in the Rooney Prize Committee have been able to encourage over the last 30 years has come about as a result of the generosity of Patricia and Dan Rooney.